to just be with others. Being a spiritual person or someone that has this continuous spiritual practice may, at one point during their journey, come off or be accused of being narcissistic or arrogant. The reason being, we see, or our perspective throughout our journey has changed so much so that we see so much love, so much light, so much compassion, that we want that for everybody. Why wouldn't we? But that can come off as a sense of arrogance, because when we talk with other people, we may go through this phase where we're trying to change everybody. We're trying to analyze what they're talking about when they are just venting, just talking about maybe their job, co-workers, having a bad day, their partner, whoever they may just be talking about. But we see it we try and almost always see it as an opportunity to convince them or to change them or to get them to see this perspective differently. And that can come off narcissistic, because we think, or they believe that we think, that we are above them, that we know more, because we've experienced such love, such light, such compassion, such beauty. We see the world so differently. And honestly, it's not that at all. Yes, we want to take the opportunity to embrace people and to get them to see things in a different way, and not so much dark, but more light. Of course, if we can see it and we see the potential in others, why wouldn't we try to get them to see it that way? But when it comes to this spiritual journey, the first thing we often do is dive into that. When we start to feel and we start to get certain realizations through meditation, through judgmental practices, however, the different things that we take in and we start to come to light for us, of course, when we start to see such beauty and such love in life, we do want that for others. We know that they have that potential to be that way. Why would we stop and not tell them that they can be? Now, the only problem with that is that they can perceive us as being critical, as us being more, or us seeing ourselves as more, and them seeing themselves, and us seeing themselves as less. So that is the dynamic that often happens. Now, if you get accused throughout your journey of being maybe arrogant or narcissistic, or you get the eye roll when you start to talk about certain things, it'll happen. And if that happens with you, the first thing you want to do is take a step back and maybe take some time to not influence others, if that makes sense. Take some time to just listen, to just be with people, to just be with others that may seem like they may have a negative outlook, or they may have a dark and always, just basically a negative outlook. I was right with the first one. Take some time to just be with them. I mean, you should always be with them, even when you want to influence or try to change or give some light to their current perspective. But practice being with them first. Just being. Because if you come off too strong, then you can turn them away totally. And then they may not come to you to vent or to talk about, what's going on in their lives, what's going on with their significant other, what's going on with their job. They may just ignore you altogether, and then you kind of have the opportunity, or you have the chance of losing them as a friend, or as family member, whoever it may be. When it comes to this, if you find yourself in this situation, you just want to take a step back and just be, and just radiate that presence. Just radiate that energy, because it's not time. It's not time for them. They may not be ready. And it's not time for you. Don't always make it about them and their negative outlook. See it as, this is a chance for you to be present and for you to just take a step back. You don't have to always be the teacher, the healer, the one that's trying to influence everybody else. Take that step back and just be. That's a practice within itself, is just being. We often start off really strong and we want to go in and we want to, well, I see the world this way, and ever since this happened to me, ever since I sat in meditation and took up this practice, ever since I read this book, ever since I started listening to this teacher, all of these amazing things have happened to me, and I want that for you. So you get a little aggressive and you try to push these things on other people. It's almost like a preaching situation. You try to push all these things on other people, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Take that step back. People don't want that. Nobody wants that. Everybody wants it on their own terms. So when this phase happens to you, as this phase happens, because it happens to everybody. It happened to me. It happens to everybody, where you just start feeling amazing and you're like, wow, I want everybody to feel this way. When this phase happens to you, the best practice is just being. Because you're usually just starting off. You're usually just coming into yourself. And it feels good at first, of course it does. But it'll take time and you'll start to hit different roadblocks within yourself. So don't become a preacher, become a listener. Let that person vent. Let that person talk themselves dry. Just be that presence with them so that they can feel that within. Just let them feel that without pressuring them to look differently. Well, why don't you look at the situation like that? No, take a step back. Be the presence with them. Because you don't want to be accused. You don't want to sit there and get made fun of. Nobody does. But that happens because, oh, well, you think that you're so fancy. Oh, you think you got it all put together. And that can happen. You may come off that way. But in order to stop it, as soon as it happens, is to just realize that, one, you know that you're not better than anybody. You see the equality. You see the potential that they can have of that same experience that you are currently having. You see that potential easily. That's one. And for two, just being that presence. Being that presence is good enough, trust me, in any situation. To listen to anybody, because if they feel it strong enough, it happens on rare occasions, but if they feel it strong enough, your presence, they may even turn it within themselves and see where they may be looking at this situation negatively. And if they do that, then you can just sit there and wonder, like, well, my presence must be working good enough where they can feel it. Again, not in an arrogant way, but just in general, just being that presence because you want to connect with them on that level. Not with words, but with energy. Connect with them on that energetic level. That's all you need. My advice when it comes to being accused of being narcissistic or seeing yourself as probably being arrogant and thinking that you're more, that phase that you kind of go through in the beginning, is just practice the presence. Say less with words and more in presence, in action, in being. Thank you for watching. I hope this video benefited you as much as it benefited me. Know that I'm always sharing love, light, and happiness with you. Thank you.